So the geniuses in the strategy division over at the DNC assumed they could ride the Russia hoax all the way to a midterm win, but polls suggest that might not be working out. So now they're going after the administration's economic record. Unemployment is pretty low. The stock market is pretty high. So instead, the attack is on gas prices, which are going up, and that is bad for the middle class. Something to be worried about. The problem, of course, is the Democratic Party has spent years vowing to increase gas prices if elected in the name of stopping global warming. The 2016 platform literally demanded a higher tax. Mark Steyn is an author and columnist. He was alive in 2016, paying attention. He may remember that plank in the platform. What does he make of it now? Hey, Mark.
Well, hi, Tucker. Yeah, it's kind of any port in a storm. The blue wave is petering out as it comes towards shore. And you said the Russia hoax. I mean, you've got to think in the chancelleries of the world right now, if all the people who told us that Trump had no chance to win in 2016, if somehow the blue wave doesn't happen and the Republicans win the midterms, there's a huge opportunity for a sinister foreign power out there that they can get the Democrats to blame them for stealing the election. So we can have a Slovenia investigation or a Tajikistan investigation or a Solomon Islands investigation. So if you're the Solomon Islands ambassador, now would be a really good time to book a lunch with, say, Mitch McConnell, so it'll look suspicious on the Wednesday morning after in November. And I don't want to give any ideas to the DNC or the FBI, but if the FBI has any spare Cambridge professors lying around that it would like to, say to minor Trump officials, maybe a staffer to Mitch McConnell. Oh, you know that Slovenia has all those DNC emails. I mean, you've got to figure this is the time to be moving on to the next plot now that Russia hasn't worked out.
So you're laughing about this, but the next independent counsel, or maybe 4 independent counsels from now, will be pulling this tape and using it as evidence at your trial.
Yeah. No, that's right. What did I know and when did I know it? That's, but I mean, one of the things, I mean, just to be serious here for a moment, because I don't really take this thing that seriously. I think the Democrats actually have a problem with a lack of message, and to profess now to be concerned about gas prices after they've derided the Trump tax cut as crumbs and all the rest of it. I mean, I think actually the solution is not to replace the Russia investigation with gas prices. The solution is to figure out that Trump connected with millions and millions of people who switched on the TV and found neither the Republican nor Democrat establishments in the least bit concerned about them. And that's the difference. That's what made the difference.
Middle-class life expectancy, as of yesterday, is down for the 3rd year in a row. Why don't they run on that? But they don't care. That's the problem.
No.
So
well, I mean...
I got to ask you about Harvey Weinstein. So, because I can't control myself. Obviously, the ex-Hollywood mogul, mega donor, and Hillary Clinton superfan. He's set to turn himself in to authorities in New York on sex crime charges.
Right.
This story's basically, this is the denouement of the story. Do you want to put a bow on it? What should we think of this?
Well, you're right about the Hillary connection. They actually had lunch to discuss after her defeat, Harvey Weinstein making the documentary about Hillary's defeat. That's how tied in they are. I think this is quite important, though, because the Me Too movement, there's an element of moral panic to it, but there's no doubt about this guy. He's been credibly accused of rape by actresses in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, New Zealand, all over the planet. And this tells us something about the way wealthy and powerful men use things like confidentiality agreements to silence people and get away with their crimes for decades on end. And that's the lesson here. Don't live in silence, don't live in fear, and frankly, things like confidentiality agreements, I think, should have a far more circumscribed place in American life.
I mean, there's also, I agree with everything you said, but there's also a sub-lesson here, which is, if you're wondering what people are up to, look at the behavior that they denounce in public. It's probably the very same thing. I mean, Harvey Weinstein was this great champion of women, as was Schneiderman. You know, the one thing I'm not in favor of is hurting women, and of course they were both doing that exact thing. I don't think that's an accident.
No, and I also think that's a liberal thing, by the way, is you profess to care about people in general. So you care about third world people in general, or gays in general, or Muslims in general, and you take that as a license to trash and abuse people in particular. And that's what ties Harvey Weinstein, Schneiderman, and a lot of these mostly Democrat, mostly liberal figures together. They said all the right things in public, and then they've got the the door lock button under the desk in private, and they've got the standard non-disclosure agreement stacked in triplicate inside the desk.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's what they all have in common. They love humanity in general and abuse humans in particular.
That's perfect. If reading and writing still exist once this revolution is over, I'll be really excited to read the history of this period. You know, that stands back and makes sense of it. I hope you write it. Mark Steyn, thank you. Yeah.